Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to find out how much it costs to repaint an original S4. And there's a lot of good guesses. In fact, a lot of you were, I would say, almost spot on some of these. Without further ado, I can reveal that the cost to, actually I took the red car, so Tornado red paint versus pearl, perhaps more expensive. But the cost to repaint this car is a whopping 17,000 US dollars, actually 17,000 and change. Oh, here you can see we have the estimate as I received from the body shop, and I'm not going to name the actual body shop here, but you can see most of this is labor for just removal of everything. And a lot of this I honestly would remove myself and take them the car. Simply because they're not familiar with these. I've taken them apart a number of times, as you might imagine, so this isn't too hard for me to do. And just kind of leave the, show it, so the car shows up kind of more or less ready to go with some minimal work on their part. So I could probably cut a fair amount of this labor out of here, and I'm just kind of scrolling through because there's literally pages of this. It was pretty impressive. And you can pause this if you want to see some of this in more detail. Yeah, we're getting there. Mask off the jams, etc. Okay, so there you have the bottom line. Body labor is $8,632. Paint labor, paint supplies, like that's pretty significant right there. And like I said, I think this body labor, 107.9 hours, I could definitely put a big dent into that cost. But, it's still going to be an expensive job. Let's just figure, like, of that $8,600, maybe I can take care of all but like $2,200 of that. If you do the math, it's still not a cheap proposition to do this, and it's a lot of work on my part too. So if you're someone that is comfortable doing a lot of the disassembly and prep, then perhaps you can save some money. And I should point out, this is a big kind of well-known body shop. They're known for doing another brand of high-end German cars. They just happen to be kind of near me, so I've used them for my wife's A6 on a rear bumper, and they did a fantastic job on that car. So that's why I opted to go back to them. Very friendly people, etc. But this is not a dedicated restoration shop by any means. So there's that. But like you'd say, you could obviously probably find somebody that would do it for less, or you could find a dedicated restoration shop. Like if you look here on YouTube, there's somebody, I can't remember if he's in Germany or where he's at, but he's doing like the full strip down to the unibody extreme restoration. And to do something of that caliber here in the States without doing it yourself and having access to that paint shop would be ridiculously expensive. I mean, you'd have to be a lottery winner, I think, to do something like that. But I do think it would be very fun if you could get everything apart carefully. Like the door sills and things are kind of unobtainium and hard to remove without destroying at this point. So there would definitely be some challenges, but it would be pretty fun to try. I think the biggest challenge is I have original factory glass in this car. One of the last ones I could find in the entire country, by the way. This one has some cheap Chinese Fuyao glass, which, by the way, does not exactly, I don't know, it's not my favorite. But the challenge is removing the glass, yay or nay. And they were kind of looking at, the molding wise, like, yeah, okay, you've got that to deal with. These rain trays here are another issue, is they want these out. Well, of course, that requires, I believe, removing this window, which these are not something you can easily find. In the rear, they thought maybe they could paint around this. The gasket on that was just pliable enough that they could get behind it, maybe just, sneak it back a bit and then not remove the rear glass was kind of the thought. But of course, it's, lights out, trim off, get everything stripped. So it's a big task, and I've been kind of delaying this video because I wanted to, if you saw the D2 S8 update, this one, I've got it on a battery tender here just to kind of give it some juice before it goes away. But this one is going to go off to basically a paint shop that I've used, or a guy I've used in the past. And I had hoped to actually go and interview him and talk to him about this, because many of you that have been in the Audi scene for a long time may have been familiar with CAR of Minnesota, KAR, and that was Kent Anderson Resources. And so at CAR, we used to sell S4s, S6s, UrS4s. That was kind of his forte, and kind of how I met Kent initially was I bought a 1990 Audi Coupe Quattro from him, back in 96, maybe, somewhere around there, and ended up doing work with both Kent and his brother Keith, who owned Anderson Motorsport. Well, fast forward the story a little bit, Kent actually shared warehouse space with another business here in the cities at the time. It was just called German Auto Works. I would later become the service manager at German Auto Works circa 2010 or so, and knew the original owner from German. We had a bunch of different cars coming through for both businesses. German Auto Works would be a little more high-end, so I got to see some pretty cool stuff on that side of things. But the common thread was these cars would often need to have bumpers repainted or have panels redone, etc. And we had a guy that would come and work on bumpers in-house many times, or take them back to a shop and work on things for us. Did a bunch of work for us over the years. Really nice guy. His name is Glenn Peters, and that is, I believe, where this car is going to go. So we're going to go out to Glenn. The thing is his shop's about 45 minutes from where I live, so I'm going to have this hauled out to him, and then I'm going to drive out with probably this car and also talk to him about what he would charge to do this, because my first estimate is from a well-established large shop, big staff, big overhead, known for Mercedes-Benz repair, but they did some work on my wife's car, just a rear bumper thing after a very mild tap at a stoplight, and they did a beautiful job on the car. The paint match is great, the quality is great, so I was very pleased with everything that they did service-wise. So that's why I took the red car to them to get an estimate done, and hence the $17,000 estimate. Well, Glenn is a one-man shop, and he has been doing this for many, many years. He actually, if I remember correctly, he was an apprentice under somebody that they used to restore Porsche 356s and had done some Concours restorations on those. So he knows his stuff, and I had actually used him prior, back in probably 2006 or 7. I had a Porsche 928, and I unfortunately got rear-ended at a stop sign, and it kind of wrinkled a quarter on the car, just missed the bumperette on the back where it would have done zero damage, went into the soft bumper, took out the taillight, and wrinkled the quarter. Well, Glenn fixed that and did, an absolutely beautiful job. New bumper cover, actually repaired the quarter. The paint match was fantastic. So I know he's capable, and that's the thing. I want this to be very nice looking. It's obviously going to have a rebuilt title, but at least we'll have, the proper paint and blending, and I know he's capable of doing a good job as well. And typically he's a lot less. So ironically, when I took the 928 to the same place where I had this car done, and the same place where I had this estimate done back in the day for that damage, and if I can find any old photos, I'll put one up here, but it was a $6,700 quote from them. I took the same car to Glenn, and I believe he did the entire thing for like under 4 or something like that. So we're around 4. So I mean, it was a great savings, but it was also, he did a fantastic job, you know. And it's just that less overhead kind of thing. It definitely makes a difference. And experience, you know, he's, like I said, he's been around German cars a lot, so we shall see. But I will kind of try to document that as this one goes in. And like I said, I kind of delayed this because my plan was to go over and see him, and the one time, or the one opportunity that I had to do that, he was not at the shop, so that didn't work out so well. But yeah, anyhow, we got all the cars here right now. This needs snow tires here soon, although we'll see how much it gets driven in the winter. This one's going away to storage. The S8 goes away to paint. The blue car is probably going to go up for sale, honestly. The 96 A6. It's not a show car, but it's had a ton of maintenance done, so it's just a decent daily driver. But yeah, that's where we're at. So if you guessed, and I'm gonna have to look back and see who the first couple people were that guessed in that $17,000 range, I could probably hook you up with some of these stickers if you like. So I've got a couple of these S-CARS stickers. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and thanks for guessing. A lot of you guys are spot on. And I will also probably do an update once I talk to Glenn. We'll hopefully get out there and see the S8 progress or something at some point, and then also talk about what his cost would be on that, especially now that I put a dent in it with my ring. That's awesome. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.